My beloved child, there will be moments on the journey of life when you feel pulled in many directions between the weight of your responsibilities, the tasks that cannot be postponed, and the gentle whisper within your heart calling you back to the quiet place where you can be near me. I know. There are days when you wake up with the longing to remain in my presence without haste, without pressure, without noise. Yet life calls your name with louder echoes. Work to complete, loved ones to care for, duties that must be fulfilled. In those moments, you may feel as though you've drifted from me, as if you've set me aside to make room for everything else. You blame yourself, feel guilty, and worry that perhaps I am saddened because you no longer spend as much time with me as before. But today, I want to say this to dispel all doubt in your heart. I am not a cold father counting every minute you pray. I do not measure your love for me by how many times you read the Bible each day or how many hours you spend in silence. I am your Father, the one who sees into the very depths of your heart. I know exactly why you had to leave the quiet place. I understand the urgent calls of responsibility that you are carrying. And more than that, I do not grow distant from you because you are busy. On the contrary, I step into those very moments to carry the weight with you. I am in your workplace, in your kitchen, in every hallway you pass through, in every phone call, every message, every small thing you do in love. I do not need you to drop everything to come running to me, for you carry me within your heart. Whether you are working or praying in silence, my child, closeness with me is not confined by formality. It is not boxed into a specific space or a fixed time in your day. Sometimes, loving me is not found in the songs or the gatherings, but in the way you choose to be patient with someone difficult, in how you care for your family while tired, in how you stay faithful amidst a whirlwind of demands. That is when you are worshiping me, not just with words, but with your very life. I know there are times when you wrestle between spiritual longing and the reality of daily life. You fear that you're not good enough, not faithful enough, not giving me enough time. But I want you to remember this: there is nothing about you that is not enough in my eyes. I do not demand a perfect version of you. I love you just as much when you're running around trying to get things done as when you're quietly kneeling in prayer. My love does not waver with the rhythm of your busyness. In fact, it is in those very busy days, in the moments you feel most distant, that I draw even closer, not to reprimand, but to strengthen you, not to demand, but to walk with you, my child. Sometimes, putting me on hold doesn't mean you've turned your back on me. It simply means you are trying your best to fulfill the role. I've given you the role of a spouse, a parent, a leader, a servant, or anyone else I've called you to be. And it was I who placed you in that position, so that you might bring glory to my name, not only through your words, but through the authenticity of your life in the world. So if today you feel weary because you haven't had much time to pray as you used to, if your heart feels uneasy because you didn't get to finish the Bible passage you had planned, if you find yourself swept along by responsibilities and obligations, pause for a moment, not to blame yourself, but to remember that I understand. I see you, I know you, and I still love you no less than before. I am not standing behind you, waiting for you to finish your work before returning to me. I am within that very work. I am present in your dedication. My beloved, holiness is not confined to chapels. It can be found in a meal cooked with love, in a smile offered during a tense moment, in the patience you extend to yourself when things don't go as planned. Each of these actions, when done in love and faithfulness, rises to me like a sweet fragrance. And my child, I am so proud of you. I do not need you to choose between working and being with me, because I long to walk with you through every part of the journey. There is no place I cannot enter, not even the loud, the messy, the exhausting spaces. I am your father, and I love every part of your life. Nothing is excluded. So keep walking forward with peace in your heart. Even if today you do not have a full hour to sit in silent worship, if your heart remains turned toward me in the smallest of things, then you are worshiping me with your life, and that brings me great joy. I am still here. I still love you, not only in your prayer times, but in every ordinary moment you live out in faithfulness. My beloved child, in the days when life becomes overwhelmingly full, when your hands are constantly in motion to meet your responsibilities, when your mind is flooded with daily concerns and fatigue washes over you like a tide, you may feel as if you are drifting away from me. You may think my presence has faded, or that you are no longer the child in whom I delight. But I want you to know something unwavering, unchanging by emotion or circumstance. I have never left you. Not for a moment have I withdrawn from you. Not for a single second have you ceased to be mine. Whether you are in a sacred space or in the midst of a noisy crowd, whether you are praying or busy at work, my spirit remains alive, moving and working within you quietly yet powerfully, gently yet without weariness. My child, my presence is not bound by outward displays or fleeting zeal. I do not measure your love for me by how often you pray each day or how passionate your worship seems. My love for you is not based on achievements, nor does it diminish when you stumble or feel weak. You are mine, not because you did something to earn it, but because I chose you, called you by name, and placed you in my heart long before you ever became aware of my presence. My beloved child, perhaps you are carrying a heavy burden in your heart, a quiet shame, like a whisper in your soul telling you that you're not good enough, not holy enough, not diligent enough. You wonder whether I still delight in you, whether I am disappointed when you fail to keep promises to yourself, or when you fall short of the spiritual standards you think I require. But child, let me make this very clear. Guilt does not come from me. I never place that weight on your shoulders. True conviction, what comes from the Holy Spirit, is always gentle yet powerful, because it does not push you down. It lifts you up. It does not shame you. It opens the way for healing, restoration, and deeper closeness with me. Shame, on the other hand, is the voice of the enemy, sneaky, cunning, and cruel. It doesn't just say that you've made a mistake. It tells you that you are the mistake. It gives you no room to look up and behold grace, but pulls you deeper into a pit of self-condemnation. It makes you hesitant to draw near to me, afraid of my gaze, forgetting that I am your Father, the one whose arms are always open, not to judge, but to embrace you. Child, do not let shame make you forget this truth. My grace still flows, still abounds, still remains available, even when you can't feel it, even when you think you are unworthy. You are the one I love. Even in the seasons when you feel the weakest, you are the one I have chosen. Even when you feel like you're failing, my spirit does not withdraw when you are weary. In fact, He works most powerfully when you let go of striving and learn to lean on me. I do not expect you to pull yourself together on your own. I want you to remember that I am the one who lifts you up. I am the place where you rest, where you are restored, where you are reminded that your beloved identity as my child has never been revoked, not even once. So, my child, if today you find yourself feeling lost amid the pressures, if your heart is heavy with the sense of not being enough, then come back, not in fear, but in trust. Let the true conviction from my Spirit draw you home, not shame pulling you further away. Let my love clothe you like a soft garment, rather than binding yourself in the rough fabric of disgrace. You do not have to run from me. You do not need to hide in the shadows. Step into the light, for there you will clearly see my unconditional love. You will see that I have never changed, and that my love is still enough to lift you up, enough to forgive, enough to begin again with gentleness, but with certainty. I want you to understand that even when you feel not spiritual enough, my Spirit is still working in your heart. A loving look you offer to someone else, an act of forgiveness while your own heart is still healing, a silent tear that falls because you long to be near me. All of these are signs that the Holy Spirit is at work. And I see them. I remember them. I treasure each one of them, because they tell me that your heart still belongs to me. You are not defined by moments of weakness. You are defined by the name I gave you, beloved. And that name does not change, not by your actions, not by your feelings, not by the judgments of others. That name is engraved on my heart, and I will never erase it. So be at peace. My child, lay down the burden of shame. Step into the light of grace. I am here not to accuse, but to heal, not to drown you in regret, but to lead you into freedom and complete joy. My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen closely to my voice amid the noise that surrounds your heart. In the moments when you feel not good enough, not fervent enough, not spiritual enough, it is then that the enemy whispers lies into your ears. He wants you to question your worth. He plants seeds of insufficiency, making you believe that only those who never leave the prayer room, only those who speak only sacred words and live in constant outward holiness, are pleasing to me. But today, I come to break those lies and speak to you an eternal truth. You do not need to live in a mold to be accepted by me, because I see your heart, the truest place where everything begins. Every time you choose love over anger, every time you forgive when you have every reason to hurt, every time you place someone else's needs above your own, every time you rise again after falling, every step you take, trembling but not giving up, that is when you are worshiping me with your whole life. Worship is not only a song in a chapel or a spoken prayer. Worship is when you live a life that reflects my love and my truth. It is when your heart is reaching heavenward, even as your feet still walk through the mud of trials. It is when you choose kindness in a harsh world, and it is these quiet moments where no one sees, no one praises, that rise as the most fragrant offerings before me. Do you know this? Every small act done in love is a silent prayer that echoes into the heavens. When you stretch out your hand to lift another, I see it as an act of worship. When you speak the truth, even when it costs you, I see it as a song in my kingdom. When you are patient with yourself in the process of growing, I see it as living proof of your faith in me. Nothing done in love is ever meaningless. No word spoken from a sincere heart is ever forgotten. I see, I remember, and I cherish it more than you can imagine. My dear one, do not let weakness make you fear that you'll miss out on my blessings. Blessing is not a fragile reward. I give only to those who never stumble. I do not measure my love by your perfection. I bless you not because you never make mistakes, but because you are mine. Every gift I prepare for you does not come from scrutiny, but from mercy. I am not stingy. I do not count as humans do. I do not give because I am compelled, I give because I love. And that love does not stop because of failure, does not run dry because of delay, and is never withdrawn when you wander off course. I am the one rich in every good thing, abundant in mercy, abundant in patience, abundant in kindness, and abundant in redeeming power. I am the one who knew you from the beginning, who foresaw every stumble, every storm you would face, and still, I chose you. Still, I wrote your name in the book of life, and still, I delight in you. My love does not come from what you do, it flows from who you belong to. And so does my blessing. It is not fragile, not conditional, not quick to disappear with passing emotions. It is steadfast, abundant, and powerful because it flows from a source that never runs dry, me. So, my child, when the enemy tells you that you are unworthy, remember the sound of my voice. When it pours shame into your soul because of things you have not yet accomplished, remind your heart that it is I who began a good work in you, and I will bring it to completion. When it tries to convince you that you have lost my love because of one weary day, one moment of anger, or one lapse in prayer, tell it that my love is not confined by time or appearance. I love you even in the moments when you find it hard to love yourself. You are a temple of the Holy Spirit, not just when you feel holy, but also when you are learning to rise again, not just when you feel full, but even when you are empty. Do not believe that my presence leaves you just because you do not feel it. Sometimes, it is in your most exhausted moments that I am drawing closest, quietly, patiently, and tenderly. I am not seeking flawless performance. I am seeking a sincere heart. I do not need eloquent prayers. I need a child who knows they are deeply loved. So keep walking with courage. Be kind. Be loving. Be forgiving. Be faithful. That is how you worship me daily. Do not fear missing out on my blessings. Do not let lies rob your peace. Stand firm on the unshakable foundation of grace and truth. Let every heartbeat become a song lifted to heaven. For you are the one I love, not just yesterday. Not only when you are strong, but every day. Every moment. Even when you are simply being true to yourself and giving your all for me. My beloved child, when you walk through long and demanding days, when your mind feels like a tightly wound string that could snap with a single touch, I see you. When you feel torn between duty and devotion, between the voices of life and the whisper of the divine, I understand. There are days when time seems to move too quickly, and you feel as though there's no room left in your schedule to pause and be still in my presence. You carry a lingering guilt, as though you've left me standing on the edge of your life. But today, I want you to remember something sacred and unchanging. I am still here, not behind you, not just in the past, not limited to a few minutes of prayer or a fixed place of worship. I am among you. I walk with you in both silence and noise, in the sacred and the mundane. I am present in the kitchen when you hurriedly prepare breakfast for your family. I am at your desk as you pour your effort into your work. I stand beside you when you lie awake at night, eyes weary, but still trying to whisper a prayer. I am not offended by your exhaustion. I am not disappointed that you cannot fulfill every intention you once had for me. You are my child, not because you are always strong, but because you are weak and still longing to be near me. My love is not reserved for a perfect version of you imagined in your mind. My love for you, fully and unchanging, is here for you right now, with all that is unfinished, with all your weaknesses, with your weariness and your doubt. My child, I know every battle waging within your soul, I see when you ask yourself, am I enough? Do my simple efforts reach God's heart? I see the moments when you feel small, insignificant, like a drop in the vast ocean of tasks, expectations, and self-judgments. I see when you are too tired to speak, when you only sigh and wonder if I am saddened by your silence. But no, my child, I am not saddened by your silence, for I hear even what is left unsaid. I listen to your heart more than your words. I read your love in how you live, in your faithfulness in small things, in your willingness to rise again each time you fall. You used to think that your love for me needed to be perfect, but I do not demand perfection. I seek sincerity, a love that is not polished, not always fervent, but true, a love that chooses to return when lost, chooses to believe when feelings fade, chooses to continue even when doubt remains. It is these choices that please me. It is in your weariness but perseverance, in your doubt but faithfulness, that I see a maturing faith, not because it never shakes, but because it dares to root itself deep in the storm. My beloved, remember that nothing can separate you from my love. Not your busyness, not your mistakes, not your quiet days, not even the unseen tears, even when you feel weak. My love remains strong. Even when you question your worth, I still see you as precious. Even when you feel like you are not enough, I still call you enough, not because of what you've done, but because I am the one who formed you and knows your every breath. I do not ask you to live a flawless life, never stumbling, but I long for you to live truthfully with me, and truthfully with yourself. If you're sad, speak it. If you're tired, rest in my arms. If you don't know what to pray, just come, because I understand even unspoken cries. My love is not built on your perfection, but on my perfection, and that love never runs dry. It does not just wait for you in stillness, it follows you into the depths of weariness, into the chaos of your days, into the darkest corners of your doubt. My child, pause and take a deep breath. Know that I have not left. I am here, still here, not because you always come to me the right way, but because I always come to you in every way, even when you're caught in the crossroads, even when you feel there's no time to sit still. I am walking beside you. My grace does not wait for the perfect mood. It pours into the very mess of your reality and creates wonders from it. You are my beloved not because you get everything right, but because you are mine, and nothing, no time, no failure, no distance, no silence can block the love I have for you. So live each day with sincerity, even in your busyness, even in your imperfection. Just remember, I am in your midst, and I never stop loving you. My beloved child, pause a moment amid life's endless motion and let your soul settle. For I have something to speak to you, a truth not born of pressure or fear, but from the overflowing heart of your Father's love. I do not look at you with critical eyes. I do not wait for you to become perfect before calling your name. Right now, amidst the things you are still wrestling with, amidst the emotions still unspoken, amidst the confusion even you don't fully understand, I have already chosen to love you. I rejoice in your presence. I delight that you are still here, still alive, still walking forward, even when your legs are tired and your heart bears cracks. Oh, my beloved, your very presence in this world is already a song in my heart. I do not watch you from a distance. I embrace you, not metaphorically, but truly, in every moment you live, Every time you sigh in loneliness, I am near. Every time you laugh at something small, I rejoice with you. Every tear you shed is never meaningless, because I am your Father. And there is not a single drop I do not cherish. I call you mine, not because you are impressive or successful, but because I created you with divine purpose and an unchangeable worth. You bear my mark. You carry my breath. No one can take your place in my heart, and no mistake can erase your name from my love. So, my child, do not let fear steal the peace of your soul. Fear is the voice of darkness. It comes to make you doubt your worth, to make you forget that you were redeemed at a great cost, the blood of my Son. Fear whispers that you are not good enough, not holy enough, not strong enough. But I come to say, you don't need to be enough, because I am your more than enough. I am strength in your weakness. I am light in your darkness. I am truth amid the lies that try to creep into your mind each day. Do not let guilt drown you. Sin has already been nailed to the cross. If you return, my grace will always open its arms. The joy of life is not found in perfection, but in the honest relationship between father and child, where you are free to be real, to stumble, to be restored, and to be unconditionally loved. My child, walk in the freedom I purchased for you. Not freedom to do whatever you please, but freedom to be who I created you, to be a bearer of my image, clothed in heavenly dignity, and sent with a mission of love. Do not bow in shame. Lift your head with the awareness that I am with you. Do not only seek me in quiet worship hours, but recognize my presence in every moment, in the noise of the streets, in the quiet sunset, in the glance of a stranger you smiled at, even in the times you could only offer a sigh as a prayer. I am there, not distant, not silent, not invisible, but real, near, and alive. I long to be your companion, not just when you're thriving, but also when you stumble, not only when your faith is strong, but even when it feels fragile and hollow, not only when you sing, but even when you are silent in the night. Whether you are working or resting, building or piecing things back together, I am always there, never distant, never changing. My love is not a fleeting emotion, it is an eternal covenant. That covenant does not waver with your moods or your tomorrows. It stands firm like a mountain, gentle like breath, and faithful like the morning sun. So, child, if you feel stuck in your thoughts, in your emotions, in unfinished dreams, know that I have not abandoned you halfway. I am the beginning, but I am also the finisher. I did not bring you this far to leave you. Every step you take, whether slow or strong, I am walking with you. If you feel lost, I will search for you. If you feel unworthy, I will remind you that I chose you before the foundation of the world. If you forget who you are, I will call your name with a voice full of love, not accusation, and I will lead you home. So, my child, live each day with the assurance that you are never alone, even when the road ahead is unclear, even when you haven't found all the answers. The most important truth remains steadfast. I love you, and I am still here rejoicing over you, singing over you, holding you close, and calling you my own. Nothing can change that. Nothing can take you out of my hands. My beloved child, listen closely now, for what I am about to tell you is not only important, it is vital. This is not a warning born of fear, but a call born of love, the deep love of a father who cannot stand still while his child walks into danger unaware. My heart is heavy for you. because I love you, and I long to keep your soul safe in a world filled with unseen traps. You do not walk in neutral territory. You walk upon a battlefield. And in this battlefield, there is an enemy who never sleeps, who never relents. He does not always appear in recognizable form, but hides within what seems harmless, within small daily choices, within those moments when you delay prayer simply because you are just a little too busy. Then, the enemy of your soul is not a shadowy illusion, but a cunning and calculated force. He doesn't always come with a loud noise, but with a gentle whisper, clothed in reason. He doesn't knock you down all at once, but slowly diverts you by words that sound wise, choices that seem sensible, ideas that feel harmless. He is the father of lies, and the most dangerous lie is not the obvious one, but the one that resembles truth so closely you don't notice you've drifted from the path of light. It prowls like a lion, but he doesn't always roar. He waits. He watches. He notes the moments you feel weary, the times your heart is anxious, the days you lack the strength to read my word, or feel you don't have the time to talk with me. When distraction sets in, when procrastination no longer troubles your conscience, when you begin to think seeking, my presence can wait until tomorrow, that is when he moves. Not with violence, but with subtle hypnosis, convincing you that there are more urgent matters, that I will understand, that a little more time away won't hurt. But listen to me right there. In the later, your soul begins to dry up, not because I withdrew, but because you have slowly disconnected from the source of life. At first, nothing seems wrong. You skip prayer once. Then again, everything still runs smoothly. Work, life, responsibilities. But this smooth continuation is the mask. He doesn't need your life to collapse. He just needs you to live, disconnected from me. He only needs you to lean on your own strength instead of my grace. He needs you to become so busy that you forget the heavenly presence waiting to welcome you home. My child, the enemy does not shatter your faith with one great blow. He wears it down slowly, through days that feel neutral, through moments where nothing seems wrong, yet nothing feels sacred. He does not break your armor at once, but waits for the cracks, a little pride left unrecognized, a small bitterness left unforgiven, a quiet doubt not brought into the light. That is where he plants his seeds. And if you are not watchful, they will take root, grow, and choke your spiritual life from within. So, my child, I plead with you, stay awake. This battle is not a game. It is a war for your soul, one that requires resolve, discipline, and love. Don't let the days pass without giving me even one moment. Don't let the whisper of deception drown out the voice of your Father. Each day, no matter how full, choose a moment to pause. It doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be perfect, only sincere. If you open your heart, I will enter. I am not distant. I am not waiting for polished prayers before I respond. Just call out to me, and I will answer. You are not alone in this fight. I have given you weapons, my word as your sword, my spirit as your strength, and my presence as your fortress. But you must put them on. You must choose to step into the battle daily, not with fear, but with faith that I am with you. And when you put on your spiritual armor, when you stand firm in my promises, when you say no to the enemy's whispers and yes to my calling, you are winning, not by your might, but by my power moving through your faithfulness. My beloved, be strong and courageous. Do not let distraction become habit. Do not let delay become distance. And do not let deception become your foundation. Enter each day knowing you are in a battle, but also covered by divine protection. I am the one who guards you, the mighty one who fights for you, and the Father who always loves you, never leaving, never ceasing. And if there are moments you forget, if there are times you fall, do not run from me. Return. Cry out. Weep if you must. But do not be silent, because when you open your mouth, when you turn around, when you choose the light, I will be there. It is never too late to begin again. It is never too late to rise. It is never too far for me to hold you close. My precious child, let your heart be still for a moment and hear me, for I must tell you something deep and weighty, not to condemn, but to protect your soul. Some things begin looking harmless, but if not recognized in time, they become a quiet current pulling you further from safety. You may not intend to turn away. You may still love me deeply in your heart. But in the rush of life, you say, I'll be back soon. Father, just wait a bit. And I, understanding your frame, loving you endlessly, I wait. I am not angry when you are weary after a long day. I do not scold you when you are distracted by the weight of responsibility. I do not withdraw when you feel nothing in your quiet prayers. I know you are human limited, tired, and sometimes stretched thin in both mind and body. But my child, what I need you to see is this. What begins as a simple later can quietly become a pattern. And patterns, when repeated long enough, become habits. And those habits, if not shaped by awareness, will shape your soul in ways you never imagined. A soul that no longer longs for divine presence, that is no longer sensitive to the living word, will grow dry, not because I stopped pouring, but because you stopped receiving. You may think, it's just one day. I'm too busy now. I'll make time for God later. But if that becomes the norm, then the delay is no longer a circumstance. It becomes a habit. And that habit becomes a lifestyle. And that lifestyle creates a foggy mirror through which you no longer see the sweetness of my presence like you did in the beginning. You still believe in me, still call me Father, but that love no longer burns. It only simmers, only remains as a trace. And it is in that moment the enemy begins his real work. My child, I must speak truth to you, not to instill fear, but to remind you of an undeniable reality. The enemy of your soul does not grow weary. While you are taking a break from spiritual battles, he is not resting. He does not always come as a storm, but as a quiet breeze, slipping into cracks you overlook. He doesn't always shout to frighten you, but whispers subtly, persuasively, wrapped in logic. He says, it's enough to love God in your heart. You don't need to pray every day. Then he adds, you need to succeed first, to care for your family. First, there are more urgent things than sitting still in God's presence. At first, nothing feels different. Life goes on. Tasks are completed. You are still a good person, still love others. But what you don't see is that while everything outside seems fine, inside you are drifting from the source of life. No flame extinguishes in one night, but if the oil is not replenished, the wick will fade. Likewise, spiritual life does not vanish suddenly, but will wither if not nourished daily by my word and deep fellowship with me. My child, understand my heart rightly. I do not require you to always be zealous, but I desire your faithfulness. I do not demand perfection, but I long for you to return whenever you wander. I know there will be days of exhaustion, seasons of dryness, the stretches of time when you feel you have no room left for spiritual matters. But it is in those very moments that I ask you, do not trade inner life for outer results. For one day, when all tasks are complete, when all goals are met, you will lift your eyes and realize what your soul truly needed was not success but life. True life, found only in me and my beloved child. Habits can change if you find yourself drifting, if your heart feels cold, if prayer no longer flows freely. Do not fear. Do not be ashamed. Return, even if with just a whisper, "Father, please don't let me stray too far. I hear, I understand, and I run to you." Like the father who ran to the prodigal not to judge, but to embrace. So, my child, do not underestimate the small things. One small choice can shape a lifetime. One decision to pause for a few minutes each day to hear my voice, to read a single verse, to whisper a word of praise may be the beginning of awakening your soul from spiritual slumber, and I am there in every step you take toward me. Together, we will break old patterns, build new rhythms, reignite the flame of faith, and breathe fresh life into your spirit. I never withdraw, my love, even when you drift. But I want you to live in fullness, not just survive, but to live aware, strong, and radiant, because you are my child, and I never stop longing to be close to you, to walk with you, to love you every day, with every breath, my beloved child. There are things that do not come with noise or violence, yet they carry a silent, destructive power. There are distances not formed by a single act of turning away, but by many quiet, gradual steps. I know you never meant to drift from me. I know the love you have for me still lingers, even if it no longer burns as brightly as before. But there is something deeply important I need you to understand, and I must say it with all the urgency in my heart. When you begin to form habits of neglect, even just in the form of small delays, those habits do not stop at behavior. They begin to take root in the heart. And when those roots take hold, they do more than alter your schedule. They slowly reshape how you perceive me. At first, you skip a prayer. Then you promise to read my word in the evening, only to let exhaustion carry the night away. One day pass, then two, then a week. And when you finally return, your heart no longer stirs as it used to. My voice seems distant. Holiness feels unreachable. Grace sounds like something reserved for someone else. And you begin to wonder, what happened to me? You remember the passion that once burned within you. You remember the clarity that helped you discern right from wrong. You remember the spiritual strength that used to flood your soul like a rushing river. The prayers that moved heaven. The moments of worship that brought tears pouring down your face. But now, everything feels distant, cold, and faint. My child, it is not because I withdrew from you. It is not because I punished you or let go of your hand. It is those small, gradual steps away from me in distraction, in choices that failed to center me, in allowing your heart to drift with the tide of busyness that led you to where you now stand. And because I love you, I cannot remain silent while your soul grows numb, weary, and longs for something deeper, yet no longer knows how to return. So, today, with all the love and mercy in me, I say this to you: do not give the enemy a foothold in your heart. Do not leave even the smallest crack through which he can sow seeds of indifference, coldness, and doubt. He does not need a wide-open door, just a small gap where you are not watchful. He does not need you to abandon me completely, only to subtly replace me with things that seem more necessary. But I have called you to life, not a shallow life, but one that is full, vibrant, and deep. That life cannot flow where your heart is covered by layers of spiritual fatigue and hardened soil. My child, be awake, not with your natural eyes, but with your spirit. Look at your life and ask, what has taken my place in your heart? Examine whether the busyness you claim is becoming an excuse to avoid my presence. Reflect on the reasons you find so valid. Are they quietly draining your faith day by day? Guard your heart diligently, not because I need you to control yourself rigidly, but because from it flow the springs of life. Your heart is the place I long to dwell. It is the sanctuary I've chosen as my home. It is the soil where I plant my living word. But if you let the dust of the world accumulate, if you allow the weeds of weariness and indifference to grow unchecked, then your heart will become barren, not because I've run dry, but because you've stopped opening to receive. You might think that returning to me requires a grand effort, but I want you to know it does not take anything dramatic to begin again. Just one honest sigh. Just a quiet whisper, Father, I want to come back. I will hear it. I will come, and I will restore. I am the one who delights in beginning again with you without weariness, without reproach, without coldness. My child, do not let the past tell you that you cannot return. Do not let the feeling of unworthiness keep you from seeking me. Do not let the enemy draw a false image of who I am. I am not far. I am still here. And I always wait not to judge, but to embrace, to wipe away tears, to soften the hardened heart, to breathe life into the barren ground of your soul. So today, if you hear my voice, even if it's only the faintest whisper, do not delay. Open your heart. Come back. Step out of the habits of coldness and return to my arms. Because I am your source of life. No one else. Nothing else. No success. No person. No goal can fill the space that only I can fill. My beloved child, in this ever-moving world, where everything is fast-paced, where your mind is easily swept into the whirlwinds of tasks, responsibilities, and daily concerns, I want you to pause, not to escape, but to return. Return to me, the source of your life. You may try hard, strive much, and sacrifice greatly, but if you are not abiding in me, all of it will eventually exhaust you. Like a branch severed from the vine, it may still look green and fresh for a moment, but it is already withering inside. It cannot sustain itself. For life is not in the form, but in the connection. Likewise, your soul cannot flourish without being nourished by me, the true source, the true life. My child, remain in me, not as a spiritual act reserved for your free time, but as a way of life, as the rhythm of your very breath. Let your life be a journey of seeking, not because I hide from you, but because in seeking, your heart stays alive, kindled by my love that never burns out. Begin each day with me. It doesn't require eloquent prayers, only a sincere heart, one quiet moment long enough to hear my voice. End each day with me. Lay everything that happened, everything you didn't understand, every joy and every weariness, gently into my hands. Like a child handing over all concerns to a steadfast father. When you face a decision, ask me. When you come to crossroads, offer me your steps and let me guide them. When your heart overflows with joy, don't keep it to yourself. Rejoice with me. For I am not only present in tears, but also in laughter. And when sorrow visits, when your heart grows heavy, don't bear it alone. Bring it to me. No need to wrap it up. No need to make it presentable. Just bring it as it is. I will receive it, carry it with you, and give you peace the world cannot offer. Do not let busyness push me out of your life. Busyness itself is not the enemy. But when it becomes the reason you drift from me, it becomes the enemy's most subtle snare. He will not trip you with evil things, but with reasonable things without me. Do not let worry choke out the seed of my word sown in your heart. Do not let the noise of this world drown out the gentle whisper of my spirit. Create a space in your heart, even a small one, that belongs only to me, a place you can return to at any moment, where I can speak and you will listen. My beloved child, my love for you does not change. My heart leans toward you, not only when you are strong, but even more so when you are weak. When you are disappointed in yourself, I am not disappointed. When you forget who you are, I still remember your name and hold on to my promise for you. My plan is not canceled by your detours. That plan is still waiting for you to step into, not by your own strength, but by trust and surrender. Remember, every step you take in me holds meaning. No act of love is ever too small. No prayer too faint, if it comes from a heart that seeks me. When you walk with me, you are walking on protected ground, under the shadow of my wings. No scheme of the enemy can touch your soul. His traps will be exposed. His lies will have no refuge. For I am your fortress, your shield, the one who stands before you in every battle. I do not promise there will be no battles, but I promise you will never fight them alone. I will strengthen you when you are weak. I will lift you up when you fall. I will remind you of where you belong and why you were born, not merely to survive, but to live a life full of purpose and light. My child, stay alert. Do not fall asleep in false comfort. Do not let religious routine replace a living relationship. Be faithful, not in great things, but in every small matter. Daily faithfulness will build a firm foundation for your soul. And on that foundation, I will build a life that blossoms not because you are skilled, but because you remain close to me. Stay close to me like the branch clinging to the vine, and you will see, even if the world shakes, you will stand firm. Even if hearts change, you will be at peace. Even if the future seems unclear, you will be full of hope. For I am yours, and you are mine unchanging, forever. My beloved child, I hear the whispers of your heart, not the shouts of a rebel, but the sighs of a soul that once loved deeply, but has grown weary in the rhythms of life. I know you did not intend to drift from me. I see your exhaustion, the weariness of trying to be strong in a world full of demands, the weight of expectations pressing on your shoulders, the constant worries that cling to you daily. And in that weariness, you unintentionally placed me last, not because you gave up, but because you forgot that I am the one you needed to seek first. I do not blame you, my beloved. I do not shake my head in disappointment at your detour. On the contrary, my heart aches with you. I see the struggle in your soul, the longing to be close to me, and the guilt that makes you hesitate to return. I know there are moments you want to rekindle your first love, but you do not know where to begin. And today, I want you to know all it takes is a humble prayer, an honest heart, and I will come and do the rest. You have asked me to cleanse your heart, and I am ready to do just that. Without delay, without hesitation, I will wash you with my precious blood shed for you. There is no stain too deep for me to cleanse, no carelessness too subtle for me to notice. I have seen it all, and still, I chose to love. I saw every moment you placed something above me, whether out of duty, emotion, or simply fatigue, and I still called you my child. I do not change because your love wavers. I do not turn away because you forgot me for a day. My love is not like the world's. It is not measured by performance, not counted by failures, not withdrawn when you fall. My child, when you recognize and confess your neglect, you open a wide door for grace to overflow. True repentance does not take you away from me. It draws you deeper into my embrace. It softens your heart so I can shape, restore, and fill it anew. I do not come to accuse, but to heal. Not to point out your faults and walk away, but to walk with you through every stumble. Each time you return, I do not count the times you've fallen. I only see the heart you offer today, a heart that is humble, longing to be renewed, longing to walk in righteousness. And I will answer you. I will give you a new spirit, not one bound by shame, but one renewed with faith, with hope, and with love. I will reignite the flame that once burned brightly in you. I will cause your heart to be moved once more by my word, to be undone once more in my presence, to find again that incomparable joy when you place me above all. And you will know it is never too late to begin again. It is never too far to love me more deeply. My beloved, my love for you has no limit. It is not diminished when you are weak, nor does it increase when you are strong. It simply is complete from the beginning and forever. My mercy is not a trickle that flows only on your good days. It is an ocean vast, deep, and always ready to embrace you when you collapse into it. When you fall, I do not watch from afar. I bend down, I reach out, I lift you up, and I do not ask why you fell. I only ask if you want to rise again. So, my child, stop blaming yourself. Stop letting shame take the place of peace. Let my mercy become your resting place. Let my love become the foundation upon which you rebuild your spiritual life, firm, unshaken by shifting emotions. Walk with me, not out of obligation, but out of relationship, not out of fear of losing blessings, but because you have found that near me, you discover your true self, your true calling, and your true life. I rejoice because you have returned. I sing because your heart is opening. I welcome you, no conditions, no proof required, because you are my child, and that has never changed. Even if you've grown cold or confused, even if you've wandered or hesitated, you have always been the one I love, and I will never stop loving you, my beloved child. When you whispered those simple yet profound prayers from your heart, I was listening, even before your words formed on your lips. I saw them in your heart, a heart longing to be wholly devoted to me, longing to live for the eternal in a world of change and chaos. And I want you to know, your prayers have not fallen into silence. They have reached the deepest part of my heart, where life, light, and eternal purpose overflow. I rejoice because you are choosing to keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, not only when it's easy, but even as you walk through trials that cloud your natural vision. My child, in a world full of distractions and shifting focus, keeping your eyes on the author and finisher of your faith is a journey of courage. But in that steadfastness, you will find a strength that does not come from yourself, but from the one who began and will complete every good work in you. Do not fear when you feel weak, or when your faith seems to waver. for it is Jesus who sustains you. He upholds your faith when you are weary. He shines his light when your heart grows dim. And he, who died and rose again, is the assurance that you are never abandoned, never fighting alone. I see a flame within you. It may not always burn with intensity, but it smolders faithfully. You long for your love for him to deepen each day, and that is the sign of a heart touched by the Holy Spirit. Let that love continue to grow, not by striving, but by drawing near to him daily. Every time you return to his word, every moment you choose faithfulness over feelings, every time you plant your faith on solid truth rather than shifting opinions, that love grows. It is a love refined through trials, nourished in silence, and matured by unwavering loyalty. You want your life to be a light in the darkness, and I delight in that prayer. You have understood the purpose I placed in you, not to live safely and quietly in your own light, but to shine that light outward. You don't need to be perfect to be a light. You only need to be honest, humble, and wholly dependent on me. For I am the one who keeps the lamp in you burning. I will use the wounds you once carried, the journeys you have walked, the times you fell and rose again to become a lighthouse for those still adrift in the night. Let your testimony not be loud declarations, but steady footsteps of faithfulness in small things. I will make your words and actions, if they flow from true love, mirrors reflecting my power and kindness. Do not think you need to do something grand. Sometimes, a timely word of comfort, a sincere hug, a listening ear filled with empathy, is enough for others to see that I am alive in you. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And when you live in that truth, even without many words, your life proclaims the gospel boldly. My child, continue to cultivate gratitude, for gratitude will guard your soul from dryness. Give thanks that my grace never runs out. Rejoice that my protection continues to cover you daily. Even when you are unaware, know that my love never ends. It is not tied to your emotions. It does not shift with your circumstances, but is anchored in the eternal covenant I made with you through the blood of Jesus. And finally, my child, never stop hoping. No matter what happens around you, no matter how thick the darkness may seem, you are still called to walk in the light. Not a light you must generate, but one that reflects from the one you fix, your gaze upon the one who began your faith and will bring it to completion. So keep walking, keep believing, keep loving, keep remaining faithful. I am with you through every breath, every heartbeat, every tear, and every whispered prayer. I'm so proud of you, not because you've done everything perfectly, but because you are fighting to keep your heart aligned with me in a world that constantly pulls you away. I see your effort. I remember every time you choose to stand firm in faith, and I will reward you not only in this life, but in eternal glory. Amen. As a child of God, you are never alone. He walks with you through every moment to remind you that you are called to live in faith and in the love of the one who holds all things together. Follow and turn on notifications so you never miss the words I speak from heaven. Amen.